get out of this one, Buck. Been out of food for 3 days. The temperature must be 50 below zero. Oh, the wolves. I can almost feel their eyes watching us, just waiting for a chance to get us. Well, we've only got one chance, boy. We're gonna have to fight our way out.
Colin! Colin!
Yes, Mom?
It's time to go.
Be right there. Okay, now you know what to do, because we gotta go. Okay, come on.
Oh, yes, okay, down, Buck. I bet you put him up to that, huh?
Mom, can't we take him with us?
I said no.
Why not?
Because your father said so.
Not my father. Come on, Buck. Come on now, you stay here and be a good boy, okay? Oh, you know it's gotta be this way. He's making it be this way. Okay, now I'll see you later.
Laura? Colin? Mary's be home late. Please feed the dog.
Just about sums it all up.
Come on, you stupid mutt. Aren't you gonna eat it? Yeah, I love you too. That is, if you want it. Did you hear something?
Yes.
I'm Barnaby Jones. Would you be Mrs. Beecher?
No. I'm afraid Laura isn't here right now. Did you have an appointment with her?
Yes, I think I did. My secretary called yesterday. I may be a little early.
Well, if Laura had an appointment with you, I'm sure she'll be here. Why don't you come on in, Mr. Jones?
Thank you.
You can wait in here if you like.
Thank you.
I was a law partner of Mr. Beecher's. I just stopped by to pick up some papers he was working on at the time of his death.
Oh, you must be Claudia Elwood.
Yes, how did you know?
I represent California Meridian Insurance. Mr. Beecher carried a couple of rather large life insurance policies. One of them named your law firm as the beneficiary. I have an appointment to meet with your Mr. Carson later this afternoon.
Then you're an investigator.
Yes, because of the size of the policies, my company thought I ought to make a few inquiries into Mr. Beecher's accident.
Then you'd probably like to see where it happened.
Yes, I would, but I don't want to take you away from your work.
Oh. Believe me, Mr. Jones, if you're really going to investigate this accident, we're both working for exactly the same thing. According to the police report, Mr. Beecher came home, prepared a dish of food for the dog, and then brought it out here.
Yes, I saw the police report. They listed the attack as accidental. But you give me the impression that you think it was something more than that.
Well, Mr. Jones, all I can tell you is that that dog was very well trained by Laura's first husband. Now, Laura's got a special way with that dog. And everyone knows Laura's the kind of woman who gets what she goes after.
What are you telling him?
Only the truth, Laura. That Joe's death has left you a very wealthy woman. Something you wouldn't have been after the divorce.
Get out of my house.
Oh, with pleasure. Mr. Jones, good watchdogs don't attack unless they're ordered to.
You're the man hired by the insurance company?
Yes, ma'am. Barnaby Jones.
I'm George Roswell. Laura's first husband, Ed, and I were in the Air Force together.
Nice to meet you.
I don't know what Claudia was telling you. Joseph and I did have problems in our marriage, but we were working them out. There was no talk of divorce.
Well, an old preacher friend of mine used to say, a good marriage is kind of like picking huckleberries in the summertime. Well, the good ones seem to be surrounded by the sharpest thorns.
What can we do for you, Mr. Jones?
There was a double indemnity accidental death clause in Mr. Beecher's life insurance policy.
That's fairly standard, isn't it?
Yes, but the question here is a technical one. Just how much and what kind of training did the dog have?
I don't think I follow you.
Well, it all boils down to this. Was Buck ever given any formal attack training?
If he had been, then the insurance company won't want to pay off on the double indemnity clause, right?
Right.
Colin's father trained Buck to protect us. I don't think he trained him to be a killer. But where you draw the line, Mr. Jones, is up to you and your company.
Did the dog have any history of biting people?
No, never. Now, if there are no more questions?
I had hoped to talk to your son, Mrs. Beecher.
Colin hasn't been seen since breakfast. But I suspect you can find him where we found him for the last 3 days, at the pound where they're holding Buck.
Colin?
Yeah?
My name's Barnaby Jones. Hi there, fella.
Did you come here looking for me?
For you and Buck. Yeah, I was hired to check into your stepfather's accident.
Oh, no, you're not gonna kill my dog. I'm not gonna let anybody kill my dog.
Oh, now. What happens to Buck is in somebody else's hands.
Oh, Buck wouldn't hurt anybody, not unless he had a good reason.
You think maybe your stepfather had been mistreating him?
He must have. Buck's the only friend I got.
Colin, your mother's on the phone. She wants to speak to you.
Go ahead, son. Buck will still be here when you get back.
I don't know how I'm going to tell the boy. The order came down about an hour ago.
Destroy him?
Noon tomorrow. Want to see something, Mr. Jones? Come on, Buck. Heel. Buck, stay. Buck, come. Stay. Buck, lie down. You think that's something? You ought to see him with Cullen. For 3 years now running, he and Buck have won the best obedience trained dog trophy. Come here, boy.
You know, I realize there's a big difference between obedience training and attack training, but could you take a friendly dog like this and retrain him into a killer?
Well, normally, I wouldn't think so. But when a dog's as smart as Buck, you could probably teach him anything.
Dan, I know Joe is working on a new will. All I want is a chance to find it.
You are a single-minded woman, aren't you?
Dan, if you'll just unseal Joe's files, I know it's in there someplace.
Oh, Mr. Carson, there's a Mr. Jones waiting for you.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
I'm Dan Carson. Sorry to have kept you waiting. We got held up in Judge's chambers.
That's perfectly all right.
I understand you've already met Miss Selwood.
Under less than pleasant circumstances, I'm afraid.
Claudia told me it wasn't a very pretty scene.
Well, I was puzzled when we got around to discussing divorce.
Laura denied all knowledge of it, of course.
I'm curious, why do you say of course?
Because, Mr. Jones, for Laura to admit that Joe was planning a divorce, or that he was in the process of changing his will, cutting both her and the boy out, would be to admit that she had a very good motive for murdering him.
Claudia.
Dan, I plan to prove everything I've just said.
You'll have to excuse her. She started working here about 6 years ago as a secretary. Joe Beecher took her under his wing and encouraged her to go to law school at night, helped her through the bar exam.
Then you don't share her suspicions of Mrs. Beecher?
Let's just say that she took Joe's death pretty hard. However, you were interested in the partnership papers with Mr. Beecher? Had a copy made. Think you'll find it in order?
Thank you. You understand the company's interest?
$1 million corporate life insurance payoff? I think I'd want a thorough investigation, too.
What are you doing here?
I needed some of Joe's legal papers. I didn't want to disturb you.
You didn't want to disturb me, huh? You break into my house like a common thief? I ought to call the police and have them lock you up.
Oh, go right ahead. Call them. I'll tell them what I was really looking for. And maybe when they know, they'll be interested enough to look for themselves.
And what's that supposed to mean?
You know perfectly well. The proof that you had a very good reason to murder Joe.
Oh, Claudia, that's a laugh, isn't it? If anyone had a reason to murder Joe, I'd say it was probably you. You wouldn't be the first office trollop whose married lover boy was stringing her along with promises he never intended to keep.
You're forgetting one thing, Laura. It was your dog that killed Joe. Your dog. And who else but you would know how to set him on someone to kill them?
Wiley?
Yes?
I'm Barnaby Jones. I was hired to look into Mr. Beecher's death.
Oh, well, what can I do for you?
According to Mrs. Beecher's statement, she and her son Colin had dinner with you here the night Mr. Beecher was killed.
That's right. They got here about 5:45, just about the time my husband was coming home from dinner, and they left sometime after 10.
You were good friends with the Beechers.
Oh, yeah, we were neighbors for over 7 years until Laura remarried last year and moved away. Our boys practically grew up together.
Mom? Can I go swimming over at Richie's house?
Jimmy, this is Mr. Jones. He's investigating Mr. Beecher's death.
Howdy.
Hi.
I'll bet you and Colin and Buck were terrific friends.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember if Buck ever showed any sign of being vicious? You know, biting and snapping at people?
No, sir. Buck never bit anyone.
It is a puzzle. A friendly dog suddenly turning mean. The other day, when Colin was over here for dinner, did he say anything then about Buck suddenly turning vicious?
No, sir. Colin didn't say anything to anyone that night. He was really mad about something. As soon as his mother left, he took off. Didn't even stay for dinner.
He didn't stay for dinner.
Go have your swim, son, and be home early.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
We have a point of contradiction.
You've got to understand, Mr. Jones. Laura married Joe because she thought it would be a stabilizing force for Colin, but Colin wouldn't accept him as a stepfather, and because of it, Laura and Joe had terrible fights.
What time did she leave?
A little after 7.
And Colin?
A few minutes later, but Laura didn't have anything to do with Joe's death. You've got to believe that.
Well, it isn't just me that's got to believe it. The police also.
Dear.
There's just one more question I have, Mrs. Wiley. Whatever happened to Mrs. Beecher's first husband?
Ed? Oh, he drowned. It was a real shame, too. He'd finally gotten that big break he'd waited for all his life. You know, the big job out of the country. They were going to be moving in a few weeks, but Colin was real upset because they wouldn't let him take Buck with him, so Ed took him on a fishing trip, you know, to try and cheer him up. And
What happened?
the boat overturned. And they say it was a real miracle that Colin and the dog got out of it alive.
Go back, go back.
Oh, hey. Don't worry, boy. Yeah, your family will be here soon. Yeah, won't be long now.
Come on, boy.
Come in. We've been expecting you.
I thought you might be.
I just got off the phone with Mary Wiley, Mr. Jones. I thought I told you once before that I felt my marriage and whatever problems it may or may not have had were none of yours or anybody else's business.
Well, ordinarily, I'd agree with you, ma'am, but right now, I'm trying to determine a fundamental issue in the death of your husband.
Whether Buck had formal attack training or not. Well, frankly, Mr. Jones, I do not care. And since it's so important to you and your company, why don't you just forget the double indemnity clause?
Well, that's very generous of you, ma'am, but that's not the issue I'm concerned with. The thing that bothers me is whether your husband's death was really accidental or murder.
Murder? But they have the dog.
Yes, I know that, Mr. Roswell, but I just can't believe that Buck would turn that suddenly unless he had reason to or somebody triggered him.
But the police report listed Joe's death as an accident.
That same report puts you and your son at the Wiley place at the time.
What do you want from me, Mr. Jones?
Well, let's start with the truth.
All right. I was with George that night. Okay? It's out in the open now.
We didn't start out to hide anything. After Joe was dead,
Claudia Elwood was making her wild charges, we thought it was best to leave things as they were, letting everybody believe that Laura was at Mary's.
I don't suppose there's anyone who could verify where you two were at the time of the attack.
No. I'm afraid we were quite alone.
We're looking for Colin. Is he here?
No, what's happened?
I'm afraid he broke into the shelter and took Buck.
Colin and Buck used to roam those hills by the hours. I don't know where else they could possibly be.
Thank you.
Miss Beecher, the night your husband was killed, have you any idea where Colin went to after he left the Wileys?
Well, he said he walked home through the shopping area, stopped to watch a baseball game in a store window, and... Oh, surely you don't think that...
Mr. Jones, your daughter-in-law is on the phone.
Thank you. Hello?
Barnaby, I just had a meeting with my friend at the office building where Joe Beecher worked.
I hope you two had a nice class reunion.
We certainly did. And she says the word is that Joe Beecher and Claudia Elwood were having a hot and heavy romance, but that Mrs. Beecher was putting on the pressure.
With any results?
Husband Joe was beginning to toe the line, much to the displeasure of Miss Elwood.
Good work, Betty. Now, I want you to check out a George Roswell, R-O-S-W-E-L-L. He's local. Check the Air Force for background.
All right. But Barnaby, wait, there's more. In checking on Miss Elwood's hometown up in Idaho, I found that her father was a veterinarian up there. He also had a business on the side. A kennel for breeding and training of guard and attack dogs. Interesting?
Don't you know it's past 6 o'clock?
Dad, I'm going to find that will if I have to go through every piece of paper in this office.
Well, if that's what it's going to take to get us back to normal, I wish you Godspeed.
Thanks. Good night. I'll see you in the morning.
Good night. Well, Mr. Jones, coming to pay off our insurance claim?
Well, no, there are still a few details to be worked out. I came over to see Miss Elwood.
Oh, she's over there in Joe Beecher's old office.
Thank you.
Yes?
Elwood?
Oh, Mr. Jones. Is there something I can do for you?
Well, yes. My daughter-in-law, Betty, had a very interesting reunion with an old college friend today.
Well, that's very nice, I'm sure.
So happens that the friend works here in this building, and she seemed to know a great deal about you and the late Mr. Beecher.
We were in love. Is that what you're leading up to?
According to the friend, the romance seemed to have died down, mostly on his part.
It's a damn lie. I loved Joe, and he loved me. I knew it, and he knew it, and Laura knew it. And that's why she used that dog to kill him.
That's a very strong accusation.
And it's going to be even stronger when I find that new will Joe was working on. And prove that Laura knew he was going to divorce her.
Well, when you find it, I wouldn't mind reading that document myself.
Mr. Jones, in that case, I'll put you at the top of my list. You'll be the first person I call when I find it.
That's right friendly of you, Miss Elwood. I guess I better go now and let you continue with your work. Oh, that's a very interesting theory of yours, that somebody used a dog for a murder weapon. In order for somebody to kill Mr. Beecher that way, they would have had to have some skills in dog handling and training.
Yes, I suppose they would.
You know, come to think of it, Miss Elwood, with your background, your father's kennels and all, that description could even fit you. Betty! What are you still doing here?
Now you show up. I've just spent the last 20 minutes transcribing my notes from shorthand so that you could read them. Is there any news on Colin and Buck?
No, nothing on either one of them. Police have a helicopter with a searchlight on it combing the hills back of the house. It's pretty cold up there at night.
Oh, those are your calls, and also some preliminary information on George Roswell. It seems that he was indeed a very close family friend. In fact, many of their friends were very surprised when Laura decided to marry Beecher last year instead of Roswell.
Any guesses on the reason for the switch?
Best I could do was, as with Scarlett O'Hara, Laura had had her fill of poverty. Beecher had plenty of money, and George Roswell is a struggling architect.
Claudia Elwood called.
About 20 minutes ago.
See if you can get her on the phone.
Oh, by the way, a couple of months ago, George Roswell approached Beecher to help finance a large housing project he had planned. And despite pressure from Laura, Beecher turned him down. There doesn't seem to be any answer, Barnaby. I imagine she's gone home.
Make a note, call her first thing in the morning. And I want to dig a little deeper into the financial situation of George Roswell. And while you're at it, do the same thing for Dan Carson.
Beecher's partner?
I'd like to know just how great a need he has for the $1 million in insurance he's about to collect.
Buck? Colin, are you in here? Colin. Colin, call him off. Colin! Colin! Stop it, for God's sake! Colin! Colin!
All right. How did you know?
I take it you've had your chat with the coroner?
I just left him. He finished re-examining Miss Elwood's body, and he found just what you said he might. Scratch marks that might have come from a dog. Now, how did you know?
Over this way, Lieutenant.
My men are getting sloppy.
Not necessarily. They weren't looking for dog tracks, and I was. From the size of the track, I would imagine it was a pretty big dog, possibly a German Shepherd.
Looks like I owe you for this one. When do I pay the bill? Now or later?
Right now would be very nice, Lieutenant. If I wouldn't get in the way of your forensic experts, I'd like to take off a set of prints for myself.
Take what you want. Just leave a couple of good ones for my team of forensic experts, all right?
I'll get my equipment.
Lieutenant?
Yeah.
Excuse me, Lieutenant. I just had a talk with the parking attendant who was on duty last night. He was on the ground floor when he heard Miss Elwood. He he says that she kept screaming one word over and over.
Which was?
Well, that's what doesn't make any sense. You see, he said she kept screaming, calling, 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 but who could she be calling?
Calling? Or Colin?
Hi, Jimmy.
I'm not supposed to talk to you.
Well, I guess I can understand how you feel, and believe me, Jimmy, I wouldn't be here if it weren't important. Now, you're a friend of Colin's. You know where he and Buck are hiding?
I don't know where they are. I already told the police that.
You sure? Might be someplace where the three of you used to play when he lived next door.
No, I told you I don't know where they are.
Well, it's just that I'm so worried about Buck.
No, you're not. You're just like all the rest. You just want to see him put to sleep.
Well, the sad part of it is, they may not have to destroy him anymore. If they don't get to him soon, it'll be too late anyway. He'll be dead.
What do you mean he'll be dead?
When he was in that animal shelter, they gave him some medicine. It was the wrong prescription. If he doesn't get the antidote soon, it'll be too late. Well, sorry to bother you.
Pork and beans. Guess it ain't the best breakfast in the world, but it's all we got, boy. Colin, you gotta get Buck to a vet real soon. What are you talking about? That Mr. Jones came by. He said that they gave Buck some medicine while he was at the pound. And if he doesn't get some more, he's gonna die. Are you sure?
No, he's not sure. Sorry to trick you, son, but that's the only way I could get you to lead me to your friends.
Come on,
Colin? I understand you're going on 13 now, son. Back where I come from, the boy gets that age, we kind of expect him to act like a man every now and then. Now, you can't run away from this trouble. You better stay and face it like a man.
No, I'm not gonna let him kill my dog. He didn't kill my stepfather. He didn't.
You know, the funny thing is, I don't think he did either. But we can't prove anything just by wanting to. We need evidence. And I think between all of us, we might be able to prove that we're right.
Well, how?
Jimmy, in the back of my car, there's some testing equipment. Bring it down here.
How?
Yes, sir. I think between the two of us, we can work this out. There we go. Four for four and not a match. What's this? A little cut there?
Oh, I guess maybe he got that when I cut him out of his cage.
Doesn't seem to match any of the other prints. Well, this proves that Buck wasn't the dog in the garage last night.
But they'll still want him for killing my stepfather.
I don't think so, son. I think when we show these prints to the police, they'll realize that it would be pretty coincidental for two identical killer dogs to be roving the city at the same time. You know what? I think it's time for you and Buck to go home. And I think your mother will be glad to see you.
Oh, Colin, you had me so worried.
I'm sorry, Mom, but I had to do it. I couldn't let him kill Buck.
Oh, no.
Colin, I'm afraid the authorities are still going to want him.
No, Not now. Mr. Jones says he can prove that it wasn't Buck.
Are you trying to tell me that Buck didn't kill my husband?
We could make a very strong case for that.
That's ridiculous. That would mean that there was another dog in the backyard that night.
That's the way it seems to lay out, Mr. Roswell.
But Joe didn't like dogs. Well, he was afraid of them. He wouldn't have gone out in the backyard for any other dog but Buck.
That may be, but he may have gone out there to feed a dog he thought was Buck. May I use your telephone? I think Lieutenant Biddle ought to know that Colin and Buck are home.
You can use the one in the den if you like.
Thank you.
George, you're not going, are you?
I can't stay. Look, Colin is back. There are things that I have to take care of.
What?
Barnaby, I have been trying for over an hour to reach you.
Sorry, Betty, I was visiting a friend over at Veterans Administration. What do you got?
Well, the financial information you wanted. George Roswell was in deep trouble. The housing project that he wanted Beecher to fund apparently had been his last hope to avoid bankruptcy.
Had been.
Well, it was announced yesterday. The housing project is going ahead as scheduled. Laura Beecher has agreed to underwrite it.
What about Dan Carson?
Oh, well, the opposite end of the financial scale altogether. Besides the law practice, at which he does very well, he's the head of a large land development company. No, the only thing $1 million insurance payoff will do for him is maybe give him, a few banking problems.
See if you can get Dan Carson on the phone.
All right. What were you doing over at the Veterans Administration office?
I was trying to follow through on that picture I saw in the Beecher study. I wanted to find out what George Roswell and Colin's father did when they were in the service.
Did you?
I had to call Military Personnel Records Bureau. They were both air police assigned to SAC Bay Security.
Yes. Barnaby Jones for Mr. Carson. Is he in, please?
Part of their jobs were training and handling German Shepherds for patrol dogs.
Yes, Mr. Carson. Just one moment, please.
Carson? Yes, what can I do for you, Mr. Jones?
Well, I was wondering whether we could come over to your office for a little while.
Well, I can't promise to be here. I'm still in a bit of shock. First Joe and then Claudia. I have commitments to meet, court appearances.
I can certainly understand your problems, Mr. Carson. Actually, we don't need your physical presence. It's just that before Miss Elwood died, she became convinced that the reason for Joe Beecher's death was in his file. And what I'm asking for is permission for us to go through the file.
Well, if you think it'd do any good, I'll tell my secretary to expect you.
Well, thank you. We should be there within a half hour.
We should be there?
Well, you are the one with the office expertise, aren't you?
And you think whatever I'll be looking for in Beecher's office was probably misfiled, huh?
Either that, or Joe Beecher felt the need to deliberately hide it.
Where will you be? Dog kennels?
Dog kennel that raises and trains German Shepherds for security work.
All right, come on, jump. Get it. Get it. Come on. Come on, get it.
Yeah, I used to raise hounds down home. Best hunting dogs in the Ozarks. Moved to California to be near our growed-up kids and found out nobody here got time to go hunting. Seems like all they do is try to hang on to what they already got. So we started raising these animals. Now, even with that pad, if Ray didn't know just how to move, that dog would tear him to pieces. Oh, thank you, Billy. Don't know if you'll find what you're looking for in here, Mr. Jones, but that's everybody that bought dogs from us in the last 6 months.
Well, I've checked out the other 3 kennels in this area that train security dogs. And if I don't find what I'm looking for here, it may be that I just made a wrong guess.
Well, what's the verdict? You find a name that strikes your fancy?
I think maybe so.
Who are you?
I'm Betty Jones, Barnaby Jones's daughter-in-law. You must be Mr. Carson.
That's right. I was just on my way to court. I thought I'd stop by and say hello to your father-in-law. Is he here?
Well, I'm afraid that I draw all the paperwork in the family. He's out checking dog kennels.
Well, just tell him I said hello.
I'll do that, Mr. Carson.
Thank you. You look enough like Buck to be his twin brother. I think it's time we let people know about you. Carson, call up your dog. Don't make me shoot him. Now, Carson!
You Mr. Jones?
Yes. This is Mr. Carson, the man you want.
Your daughter-in-law's the one who called us. She said you might need some help out here.
That girl's timing is getting better with each passing day. Dan Carson's land development investment group was a swindle. Your husband found out about it, amassed some powerful evidence, and was blackmailing him.
But why did Dan kill Claudia?
Beecher hid the evidence in an envelope and taped it to the bottom of a filing drawer. Carson looked for it, but never found it.
And when Claudia started looking for papers indicating a new will,
Which incidentally never existed.
Carson was afraid that she'd find the blackmail evidence, which would, of course, point to him as Mr. Beecher's murderer.
After Carson killed Claudia, he looked for the evidence again, satisfied that it wasn't in the drawer. He allowed us to look.
Us?
A figure of speech, Betty, purely. Now, I think that we ought to get out of here and let these folks get on with plans for their housing project.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Jones, I just wanted to thank you. I mean, I guess there was even a little while there when I thought Buck was a killer. But you always believed in him.
That's true, Barnaby, from the very beginning. How did you know that Buck wasn't the killer?
That was the easiest part of the case, Betty. Buck told me. Didn't you, boy?
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Boy, I feel stuffed after that lunch. If I don't get out of this wheelchair soon, Miss Hollister, I'm going to blow up like a balloon. All I do is eat and sleep.
I'm going to talk to Dr. Rickers about that. I think it's time we started you on a physical therapy program.
I bet I put on 10 pounds.
Start you on a diet as soon as you're strong enough. Be your old slender self in no time. I turned the speaker volume a little low. Some of your neighbors may not appreciate Mr. Bill Edwards' bedroom humor.
Oh, he's not that bad. It's all fun.
This is station KBEX. Please stay tuned for the Bill Edwards Show.
You just give a holler you need anything. I'll be fixing myself some lunch.
All right, now, let me carefully emphasize to my radio listeners now joining me that I've been expounding to 3,000 people seated out in front of me. Well, okay, make that 11 people, including the cute little red-headed captivator now casing my engineer so lovingly that, well, the first platform of women's lib should be doing away with beauty parlors. Now, this would give us men an equal chance at not getting all messed up and emotionally jostled at such tender ages. I mean, no makeup, no hairdos, and instead of silk and fluff and all those goodies which have been giving me high blood pressure long before my time, just a simple sackcloth. Well, enough of that verbal jousting and down to business. Today's topic for you dainties out there, I love every one of you, even wearing your smoldering sackcloth and sporting those mustaches. Today's topic is, what was your most embarrassing moment when dating your hubby, boyfriend, or live-in for the first time? Okay, switchboard's lighting up, and my dear, that does keep Billow off the unemployment lines.
Miss Hollister! Miss Hollister, I don't believe what happened. When I drove by the Rickers' house, there was a police car, an ambulance. A neighbor said she was dead. Dr. Rickers' wife, Ellen.
Oh, no. Did they say how it happened, Mrs. Barnes?
I don't know. Where's Kathy?
Oh, she's on the patio napping.
Kathy? Kathy, are you awake?
Oh, hi, Mom. Is the Edwards show over already? Don't tell me I slept through it all.
No, dear. I turned it off after you went to sleep, about half an hour ago.
Oh. Is something the matter, Ma? What's wrong?
Dr. Rickers' wife, Ellen. She's dead.
The call was logged at 6 minutes past 2. He didn't leave his name. It's just that there seemed to be some kind of disturbance going on here.
You been able to reach Dr. Rickers?
He's in surgery since 2 o'clock.
But I have a man at the hospital to break the news.
Check along the block, see if you can come up with that caller and find out exactly what kind of commotion he heard here.
Right.
That's all the police have, at least up to the time I asked for their report.
That's all they have. An eyewitness who saw Dr. Melford arguing with the victim shortly before the police were called about a disturbance in the house?
Yeah, and throw in the fact that said eyewitness saw Dr. Melford visit that house other times in the past, and you can't blame Lieutenant Biddle for holding him on suspicion of murder. Oh, Jim, this is Barnaby Jones, a private investigator I've taken the liberty of hiring. Barnaby, Dr. Jim Melford, resident surgeon at Wilshire Memorial.
Why no bail? I got some creep of a cellmate who's been pushing junk. He'll be doing business at his old stand in the morning.
Jim, you'll be held for 72 hours.
The lieutenant. Biddle, that his name? Why isn't he out there trying to find out who killed Ricker's wife instead of trying to hang me?
Well, I've known Lieutenant Biddle for a number of years, and it's my opinion that he doesn't try to hang people.
He's on our side.
Dr. Melford, wouldn't it be a lot more productive if we just sat down quietly and kind of discussed the charges that are being made?
I got a right to be upset. Got back to the hospital, parking my car, and 6 cops started grabbing me.
You left the hospital at 1:30 today and can't explain where you were for the next hour and a half, during which time Dr. Ricker's wife was murdered.
Right. Washed up after a session with 2 burn cases. Drove to the county tennis courts to see if my usual partner was around. He wasn't. Back at the hospital at 3:30.
So you didn't play any tennis?
Wandered around watching a few games. What's unusual about being on county courts and not meeting anybody you know?
Jim, Mr. Jones isn't questioning your statement.
Of course he is. Where do we go from? I can't account for my time.
About this eyewitness, Kathy Barnes. She says she saw you enter the Rickers' house at 2 o'clock or shortly thereafter.
Eyewitness. A girl under constant medication who sleeps half each day away. She was hallucinating for a week after that skiing accident.
Then you're saying that the witness is not credible, that she is claiming to have seen things that she didn't see?
Exactly. She suffered a severe concussion. There is nothing unusual about sensory distortions for days, even weeks later.
Well, Ralph, I'll go over the ground and get back to you.
You don't believe me that I didn't kill Ellen Rickers?
Dr. Melford, my job is to investigate the facts as thoroughly as I can and hand a report to your attorney. Was there anything in your relationship with Mrs. Rickers which was other than casual, friendly?
Well, I hardly knew Ellen Rickers. A hello when she dropped by the hospital, and a couple of times Dr. Rickers invited me to the house. That's it.
Thank you.
Well, I know it was 2 o'clock because I was listening to the radio talk show and it had just come on.
That's quite a distance away, Kathy. You had no trouble recognizing the man you saw as Dr. Melford?
Well, like I told Lieutenant Biddle, I met Dr. Melford at the hospital lots of times. He always wore the same wild sports coat. He used to kid about a resident doctor only affording 1 jacket. So he made darn sure he was getting his money's worth.
And this wasn't the first time you saw Dr. Melford visiting Mrs. Rickers?
Well, since my accident, being in a wheelchair, well, I never said anything about it before because, well, it wasn't any of my business.
Well, we'll talk again, Kathy.
Kathy, it's that time again.
I thought Dr. Ricker said I didn't have to take any more medicine.
These are only vitamins. Something to build up your strength.
Don't ever try to stem Christy around a tree, Mr. Jones. Not while you're watching a cute boy going by.
I'll keep that in mind. It'll just be a few moments.
Good morning.
Oh, Dr. Rickers? I am sorry. Lieutenant Biddle gave me permission to look around. I didn't know you were here.
I'm afraid I'm not altogether here this morning.
I'm Barnaby Jones. I'm a private investigator. I'm assisting Dr. Melford's lawyer in looking into the facts of the case.
Well, if there's anything I can do to assist you, Mr. Jones, I'll be only too happy. Jim Melford did not kill my wife.
Well, Doctor, maybe some other time.
No, this should be cleared up as soon as possible. Not only is Jim's career at stake, but also my wife's integrity.
Dr. Melford thinks that in her present state, Kathy may have hallucinated the whole story.
Yes, he's right, of course. That girl's gone through many periods of disorientation since her accident.
I spoke to her a few minutes ago. She seemed alert, clear-headed.
I'm expecting rapid improvement now, but patients recovering from head injuries often fall into a dreamlike state. They imagine events which seem very real to them after awakening. Ironic, isn't it? This picture was taken at the Elmwood Spa. I don't know how many times Ellen phoned me, pleading with me to join her. Maybe tomorrow, I'd say. The irony is, no one can guarantee our tomorrows.
I won't bother you further, Doctor. Please accept my sympathy.
Mr. Jones, I can assure you of one thing you'll find during the course of your investigation. Jim Melford is totally innocent of the charges against him. You'll have to look elsewhere for my wife's killer.
There's the best relaxing exercise in the world.
And tones up the midriff, huh?
It does much more. Try it sometimes, Mr. Jones. You'll feel that old spine tingling.
Now, to get back to Mrs. Rickers, she spent some time here. Did you get to know her well?
Not too well. Made out a couple programs for her. You know, classes I thought she'd be interested in. Never was. Shame she's dead. I just heard about it an hour ago. Some of the guests talking about it.
You just heard about it an hour ago. It was in all the papers.
Oh, I didn't see the papers. Been up in the high Sierras camping with my son. You know that boy?
You know, Mr. Sims, what I'm trying to do is to put together a picture of Mrs. Rickers' life, her friends. Did she socialize much with the guests here?
Socialize? Wouldn't say that. No, not at all.
Just went through the health program and kind of kept to herself.
Health programs, Mrs. Rickers?
Would you like to explain that?
Well, to each his own, or her own. Mrs. Rickers wasn't exactly a desirable guest. The cottage she stayed in is pretty secluded, but after dark, voices carry. She had a visitor coming in late, always arguing with him, it seems. I had to go over there and tell him to hold it down a couple of times.
You know who the visitor was?
At first, I thought it was her husband, but a couple of gals here laughed when I mentioned it to him.
What did he look like?
30-ish, dark, guy with a temper. I thought we were going to tangle when I told them they'd have to be quiet.
This the man?
Mm-hmm, that's him.
You're positive?
I saw him at least twice. But the way the gals talked around here, he had to spend a lot of nights at that cottage. Mrs. Ricker's health program, they called him.
You're not only a liar, you're a fool. You're a fool for not telling your attorney about that relationship, and you're a fool for lying to the police.
I was trying to protect her reputation. She was dead. And why give the newspapers a field day?
Let me give you some sound advice. Call your attorney right now and tell him the truth.
Wait, you're still with us, right? Still on the case?
For what purpose? I set out to find out if Ellen Rickers had a gentleman friend who might have been visiting her that day. I sure found him.
I didn't kill her. When I walked in, she was already dead. Lying on the floor. Yeah, that's right. I was at the house. It was a few minutes after 2, so I guess Kathy Barnes did see me there, but I didn't pound on that door. I used a key, opened it, and walked in. As soon as I saw Ellen, I knew that I couldn't do anything for her, I left. I mean, how could I have explained being at the house, having a key, visiting there at the very time I knew Dr. Rickers was operating?
Are you aware that Kathy Barnes is not only saying that she saw you enter the house, but that she saw Ellen Rickers alive arguing with you?
And that's been driving me crazy, that girl seeing me and Ellen together at the very time I went into the house. The only answer I can find is she imagined she saw Ellen alive.
She saw you, but she hallucinated Ellen Rickers all at the same time?
Mr. Jones, I loved Ellen. I didn't kill her.
You didn't pound on the door?
Why should I? I had a key.
Where is the key?
Threw it out the window while I was driving. I don't even remember where. It was an impulsive act. I wanted nothing to connect me with the Rickers house.
Dr. Melford, how could you make so many mistakes on just one day? That key may have substantiated part of your story.
Total panic. Pure and simple.
How long had the affair been going on?
6 months, maybe. We started meeting at the Rickers summer cottage at Owl Lake, but we felt that was dangerous, and we started meeting at the spa. Or at the Rickers house when we knew he would be in surgery.
Doctor, as an agent for your attorney, I'm privileged. That means that anything you tell me would be held in the strictest confidence. Now, is there anything, but anything, that you're holding back?
Can't think of anything.
I want you to call your attorney right now. Get him over here and tell him everything you told me. I think he'll suggest to you that you revise your story to the police.
Then you're staying on the case.
Doctor, I hope I'm not in for any more surprises. Now, when I let you off, I want you to run a routine check on everybody connected. And Betty, if you have time, talk to some of Kathy's school friends. Let's get a fix on what the younger people think of her.
Her credibility or flights of fancy?
Melford is not a stupid man. He knows that Kathy says that she saw Ellen Rickers inside the house alive talking to him. Now, if that's true, why does he deny it? Why doesn't he just say, yes, he left Ellen in the house, still alive?
Leaving the police with the problem of having to prove that she wasn't killed later on by someone else.
Exactly. Now, if Melford has finished lying, we've got to take a closer look at Kathy's story.
You're right. I'm not dizzy at all.
There's no reason you shouldn't walk about as much as you wish now. Try to get outdoors more.
We can take a drive for a few hours tomorrow if you like.
Oh, great.
Would you bring Kathy by the office tomorrow morning before you drive? I want to run some final tests.
You all right, honey?
Yeah.
When is Mrs. Barnes returning from San Francisco?
She'll be away just for the weekend.
Dr. Rickers.
Oh, Mr. Jones, are you making any headway in the case?
I'm still going around asking people questions. Miss Hollister, I wonder if I might have a few words with Kathy.
She's out back on the patio.
Thank you. Doctor, just about everyone agrees that this case hinges on Kathy's credibility. I wonder if we could have a talk about her medical condition at your convenience.
Well, I'm tied up today. Perhaps you could drop by my office tomorrow morning, say about 10?
Surely. Thank you. It's hard to see that door from here.
Yeah, but it's the door Dr. Melford used.
Bush kind of hides it. And you could clearly see that it was Ellen Rickers inside the house talking to Dr. Melford.
Oh, sure, you can't miss her blonde hair. And she was wearing a bright red dressing gown.
Getting your sea legs back, huh?
Beyond the slopes come first snow.
Next time, you'll be watching where you're going, won't you?
With both eyes.
Swearing off boys. At 40 miles an hour downhill, that is.
Kathy, I want to impress you with the importance of time. Now, you say you knew it was 2 o'clock because you were listening to your radio.
Yeah. No, not my radio. It was being fixed. I had the stereo speaker on.
Was there a time announcement on the program so that you knew it was exactly 2 o'clock?
Some music, and then the announcer saying to stand by for the Edwards show. No, no time.
And the Edwards show always goes on at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, I always listen. Most everybody does.
So you were listening to the program, and were you wide awake or sort of catnapping?
Well, I did fall asleep, but that was after Edwards started. You know, giving his topic for the day. It was, what was your most embarrassing moment when dating your hubby, or as he put it, you're living for the first time? Sometimes I even call.
You called?
Well, on the topic. Since I've been laid up, I've been calling.
So you listened to the show for a few minutes, and then you fell asleep.
I began dozing, and then I saw Dr. Melford and Ellen Rickers arguing.
But you were dozing.
I know what you mean, Mr. Jones. Lieutenant Biddle keeps asking me if I could have been dreaming. I don't think I was. But I don't know, maybe it would have been better if I hadn't said anything that day.
No, you did the right thing, Kathy. Say what you saw, or what you think you saw, and leave the rest up to the police.
What held you up?
Stopped off for a bottle of champagne.
Oh? What do we celebrate?
Look at that.
Indicted for murder.
Home free.
I'll be totally satisfied when Melford's sitting in a cell for the rest of his natural life.
That was the most important part, wasn't it? Paying Melford back.
I don't know which one I hate the most. That loudmouth, arrogant, or Ellen flaunting her purse strings.
Hey. Celebration, remember? Cheers, all that.
Or maybe having you is the most important thing.
Now that I'll buy.
Oh, Pete, I can just see you out there. You sound like one of those typical chauvinistic dudes, you know, well, they're so despised by my doll babies, and I think with very good reason, pal. Matter of fact, right now I've got you in sharp focus with my magic pillow bleeper there. And I can see you sitting out there hunkered down on your spavined haunches in flea-bitten manner, probably called Crestfallen Plaza. I can see you out there right now with your phone in one hand and
plucking pensively at your prehensile asparagus-like toes with the other. I have to kind of defend my doll babies out there, but stay tuned, chums, for 5 minutes of late news, then I'll be back with further acrimonious rebuttal, defending my ladies. Whew. Well, I'm not the neatest person in the world. One of my ex-wives is so fond of nagging me. Add that to the fact, Mrs. Jones, that I have a memory like a neurotic hamster. Oh, here we are. And my life is a constant 24-hour whirl of anxious desperation.
Well, I see you certainly have your share of fan mail.
I was hoping you noticed, my dear. By the way, do you ever listen to my shows?
Almost all the time.
Well, thank you, my dear, for that charitable falsehood. Now, let's see. Wednesday, the 19th, Mr. Jones?
Your afternoon show.
Well, here we are. No delay of program. Could have been a few seconds, no more than that.
How long after your program starts do you usually introduce the topic of the day?
Oh, I would say about 4 or 5 minutes. I announce the topic as soon as possible, just give my callers time to gather their scattered wits. And incidentally, that was the other woman day, not quite the juicy, succulent topic I thought it would be.
Then you would say that no longer than 5 minutes after the program starts. The other woman?
Yeah, here it is. Were you ever that other woman in a divorce case?
Well, I was under the impression that the topic of the day on that particular day was what was your most embarrassing moment on your first date with your husband or boyfriend?
No, let's see. That's an oldie. Here we are. By the way, Mr. Jones, you've got me throbbing with curiosity. When this case becomes, well, let's say unconfidential, I'd love to hear all about it, full details. Here it is, the 26th of last month. Topic, what was your most embarrassing moment while dating your hubby, boyfriend, or live-in the very first time?
The 26th of last month?
All right here. Feel free to make notes. And by the way, I better check on the calls coming in. I'll see you later.
Thank you. Well, if Kathy was confused about the topic of the show, doesn't that make you doubt her whole story?
She reminds me of a little girl I met in a spelling bee once. She was so charming that even when she spelled the words wrong, she had the judge believing her.
All right, look to the left. Now look down. Good. Lights, Miss Hollister, please.
Settle for a B grade, Dr. Rickers?
A B plus with a certain A coming.
Still want to take a drive this morning, or would you rather do a little shopping?
Maybe both. Spend the morning driving, then shop after lunch.
Yes? Yes, we're finished. Send Mr. Jones in. All right, girls, I don't want you to overdo this first day, so limit it to a 2-hour drive, and then straight home, nap time no later than 1.
Doctor?
Morning, Mr. Jones.
Kathy, how's the sea legs?
Oh, much better, Mr. Jones.
Such a nice morning. Let's get started.
Oh, Kathy, I met your Mr. Edwards yesterday.
You did? Hey, what's he like? Does he remember me? I called him twice, you know.
Well, we didn't have much time to talk, but we did discuss the topic of the day that you heard on the patio. Something about your most embarrassing moment.
Yeah, when you dated your husband or boyfriend for the first time.
Only he said that wasn't the topic of the day. He said it was something to do with, were you ever the other woman in a divorce case?
No, I would have remembered that. It was most embarrassing moments.
No, Mr. Jones is right, Kathy. The program was on in the house, too. I remember callers talking about being that other woman in a divorce case.
It's not uncommon. Falling asleep, believing you're hearing that program, but your subconscious picking up words heard at a previous time.
I guess.
I think it's time we got started, Kathy.
Bye, Mr. Jones.
Bye, Kathy.
Thanks, Dr. Rickers.
All right, have a good time, Kathy.
Doctor, if Kathy was totally wrong about what she thought she heard on the radio, couldn't she have been equally wrong about what she saw or thought she saw that day?
Ordinarily, yes, but you can't dream or hallucinate something you've never seen before.
I don't follow you.
That red dressing gown Ellen was wearing, it was a gift from me, presented to her just that morning before I left for the hospital. Now, if Kathy said she saw Ellen in a red robe, a color she's never worn before, it proves that she did indeed see Ellen alive as she looked down to my front door about 2 o'clock that day.
I see.
It didn't occur to me until just this morning, and I immediately called Lieutenant Biddle and told him about the robe.
That does tighten the case against Dr. Melford, doesn't it?
With Melford admitting he came to my house.
I think he should also admit that that uncontrollable temper of his took over, and he struck Ellen, causing her death.
Well, if that's true, seems to me Dr. Melford could take the easy way out and plead involuntary manslaughter.
Maybe you should suggest that to him.
I think I'll leave that to his lawyer.
You're very quiet, Kathy.
Thinking about Mr. Jones. Something he said about the time of day being so important.
And?
Well, I didn't think about it too much before, but that day was kind of jumbled up for me. For instance, do you remember when you woke me up for lunch and I wasn't hungry, as though it was too soon after breakfast?
Oh, having a lesser appetite isn't unusual.
But when you wheeled me out to the patio, it was 2 o'clock, and I woke up at 2:30. That's only a half-hour sleep. I mean, on other days after taking my medicine, I'd feel groggy if I didn't sleep at least an hour.
You're regaining your full strength now. You need less sleep.
But you see, time again. I'm getting worried about being so positive of things that day. I mean, if things seem mixed up to me now, thinking back, maybe I was dreaming I saw Mrs. Rickers alive talking to Dr. Melford.
I'm sure you weren't dreaming. We'll make a stop ahead. I have to call Dr. Rickers. Something I forgot to tell him this morning.
Yes? Yes, Marion.
It's not that she's suspicious, but if she talks to Jones like that, how long would it be before he puts it together?
How far are you from the lake cottage?
Oh, about 30 minutes, I think.
All right, I'll meet you there. Kathy and her mother have both been guests before, so she won't think it unusual my suggesting you spend a day at the lake. Listen, tell her I decided to take the day off. I thought it might be fun to do a little trout fishing together again.
This is an identical portable to the one Miss Barnes has. A simple repair. Resistor in the primary circuit had worked itself loose.
Would you say it's unusual for a defect to show up in that way?
Yes and no. What was unusual, I found the warranty seal broken when I opened it up. Strange, because I delivered it to the house just about a week ago. It was new, in perfect working order.
Who brought it in for repair?
I don't know her name. A nurse. She brought it in and picked it up.
That stereo system that Mrs. Barnes has in her house, did you install that?
Oh, yes. I know the family well. I've been doing business with them for years. Look here. This is the model they bought just about a year ago. It's very fine equipment.
Plays cassette tapes.
Records and plays back.
So the tapes could be heard through every speaker in the house, including the one on the patio.
Right.
Mind-boggling.
Oh, it's a common system today. The cassette feeds through the receiver and out to the speakers.
I was thinking of something else, Mr. Sewell.
And the next company Rickers formed went broke just last year. You know, I sensed from the broker that Mrs. Rickers was tired of bailing her husband out from all these flyers he's been taking.
And what have we got? A ne'er-do-well and a wealthy woman.
Motive is there.
Add on to that the sudden failure of Kathy's radio, then Nurse Hollister's convenient correcting of Kathy on the talk show topic.
And Kathy confined to intensive care on the 26th, the day of the embarrassing moment topic. And the hospital says they do not have radios in intensive care.
Well, if she didn't hear it, that proves she wasn't dreaming. But only Kathy can tell us if she heard a radio that day.
Barnaby, you said she'd be home by 1. It's almost 1:30.
Let's make a phone call.
No, I couldn't say where she is.
Well, I'm just an old friend of Marion's. She told me to give her a buzz if I ever happen in town.
I wish I could be more of a help. She did phone in a while back to talk to Dr. Rickers, but I have no idea where she was calling from.
Well, do you think Dr. Rickers might have some idea?
The doctor's out. He canceled all his appointments and left the office right after he talked to Nurse Hollister.
Well, I do thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I heard. Now, what kind of a phone call would cause Dr. Rickers to cancel all his appointments and rush out?
And so any of you hauntingly lovely women who might have any piercing, penetrating idea on what's the dirtiest trick your man ever played on you, you just tell me, your secret admirer, all about it, my dear. Hey, chums, remember that dear little youngster who called in, Kathy? What she did was fracture her tiny feminine flipper up on the ski slopes about 2 weeks back. Well, I want to hear from Kathy today, but perhaps this youngster abides by Billow's stern law that you have to wait 10 days. Well, I'm going to set aside that 10-day law right now, which, of course, has been cast in bronze for permanent remembrance. So, Kathy Plum, if you're listening today to Bill, your chum, you give me a call. Tell us all how you're getting along. So you call in, Kathy. We'll be waiting for you right now. Mr. Jones, maybe I could be of more help to you if I knew myself what was going on.
Trust me that I don't want to trigger somebody who may be with Kathy into doing something desperate. And trust me that I'll fill you in on the whole story sometime when you're my guest at the steakhouse of your choice.
With this lovely lady adorning tableside, I hope.
Fighting off your fan club.
What a spiffy daughter-in-law you have, Mr. Jones. May I suggest that you maintain a close, vigilant watch?
Do you think she'll call?
Better question. Will she be able to?
I don't see how we can prevent Jones from talking to her.
We can't. Our answer is to stop Kathy from questioning the time that day. To prove to her that time and events become distorted while under medication.
I think the more we talk to her about that
I
day...
have to talk to her. I'll examine her arm when she wakes up, be dissatisfied with the healing, and put her on a drug program. Yeah, she'll be mildly hallucinating even before she goes to sleep tonight.
But that means her credibility will really be questioned. Wouldn't Melford go free?
Highly doubtful. As I told Jones, no one can imagine something they've never seen before. That little touch of mine. Buying Ellen that red robe.
Well, enough of that jousting. All right, now, I'm going to wait for my next caller. And, you know, I still haven't heard from my skiing chum who broke that lovely arm of hers, fending off the panting hordes, admiring her triangular slalom up there on the ski slopes. Where are you, Kathy Plum? This is Billo, breaking my 10-day rule to hear your dulcet tones telling my 40 million listeners how you're coming along. Well, listen, by the way, you know, I'm going to remind those 80 million listeners right now to tell me this afternoon what's the dirtiest trick that your man ever played on you. Okay, I think I've got a live one here. Stand by. Here we go. My next caller with a well-justified beef on her nimble brain calls herself.
Hi, Bill. This is Kathy.
Kathy, my dear girl, are you cheating on your chum, Bill? I mean, here it is 15 minutes into the show, and I thought sure you'd be my very first caller.
I tuned in late. I'm sorry. I just heard you say I could call.
I'll give you this time, sweetheart. By the way, I'm now switching on my magic viewer. Aha! You're going to have to clamber down off the lap of that ski bum, honey. Dude who picked you up this afternoon up there, and act with a little more demure decorum, if you will, okay?
Oh, I'm nowhere near skiing country. My arm is still in a cast.
Well, are you getting plenty of exercise otherwise, sweetheart? What are you doing today to keep that lullaby bod of yours in shape?
Well, some fishing after I take my nap. Not much else.
Fishing? You don't mean to tell Billo that you're out on somebody's swank yacht, perhaps calling ship to shore, do you?
No, this is lake fishing from a swank rowboat.
Well, Kathy Plum, we're going to have a hasty station break here. We'll be right back. How far do you want me to go?
Keep her talking, but don't press her for a location. Fishing on a lake. It has to be the Rickers summer cottage.
It's on Cove Road, last cottage. It's right on the lake.
That's 20 minutes from here. If you don't hear from me in 30 minutes, call Lieutenant Biddle.
Right.
Okay, Kathy, let's talk a little more about that fishing business.
No, really, I've always been a fishing bug, especially for lake trout. Well, when my dad was alive, we used to go
Who are you talking to?
the radio station, the talk show.
Who gave you permission to do that?
What?
You were told to go to bed. What's that talk about a lake? Well, there I go again. Yelling at my patients for disobeying orders. It's a habit. I Been trying to break myself up for ages. Forgive me, Kathy. But I do insist upon that nap. Here's a little something that will get you to sleep. Here. This will make you sleep for an hour or so. And then it's off to see if we dine on fresh trout tonight.
Wash it down, honey.
I think I'll also have a little snooze in the sun. Something I haven't done for years.
You comfortable?
She'll be asleep in 2 minutes. She won't feel this.
What effect will it have on her?
She'll be docile. More dependent on you. She'll question her judgment. It'll be weeks before her self-confidence returns. By then, Jones will be long out of the picture. Kathy! Kathy!
Where's Kathy? Where is she?
She and Dr. Rickers took a walk. Probably on the other side of the lake by now.
Miss Hollister, I believe it'll all soon be proved that Kathy was drugged to the point she could no longer keep track of time. That you induced her to believe it was 2 o'clock that day when it was much earlier. And that it was just play acting that you and Dr. Rickers performed down at his place for her benefit.
I don't know what you're talking about.
How long do you suppose it'll be before the police trace where that identical sports coat was bought or where that blonde wig was bought? It's over, Miss Hollister. You can only make it worse.
She ran away from us into the woods. Dr. Rickers went looking for her. Mr. Jones? He's carrying a gun.
Kathy! Come on now. Kathy? Are you imagining things again? You've been ill, Kathy. Much more so than you've been told. Nurse Hollister and I are trying to help you.
think we'd want to hurt you?
I don't know.
Now, let's go down by the lake and just have a nice, quiet talk, huh?
No, please.
Come on, down by the lake, just to talk.
Come on. Please, please don't.
Rickard!
You all right? Okay, let's go.
The afternoon sun cast a golden glow across the peaceful suburban patio, wrapping the quiet garden in a blanket of comforting warmth. Kathy Barnes sat comfortably in her sturdy wheelchair, looking out over the blooming hydrangeas. It had been several weeks since her unfortunate skiing accident, a terrifying tumble down the snowy slopes that had left her with a broken arm and a severe concussion. Yet, despite the lingering pain and the frustrating confinement of the chair, her youthful spirit remained unbroken. "Boy, I feel stuffed after that lunch," Kathy said, letting out a soft, contented sigh. She leaned her head back against the cushion, a playful smile touching her lips. "If I do not get out of this wheelchair soon, Miss Hollister, I am going to blow up like a balloon. All I do is eat and sleep." Nurse Hollister, a woman whose crisp white uniform matched her precise and deliberate movements, stood nearby, adjusting a light blanket over Kathy. "I am going to talk to Dr. Rickers about that," the nurse replied, her voice smooth and carefully modulated. "I think it is time we started you on a physical therapy program." "I bet I put on 10 pounds, Kathy chuckled, patting her stomach gently. "We will start you on a diet as soon as you are strong enough," Nurse Hollister assured her, offering a practiced, reassuring smile. "You will be your old slender self in no time." She reached over to the patio table and turned the dial on the stereo speaker down just a fraction. "I turned the speaker volume a little low. Some of your neighbors may not appreciate Mr. Bill Edwards and his bedroom humor." Kathy laughed brightly, the sound ringing like a small bell in the quiet yard. "Oh, he is not that bad. It is all fun." From the speaker, the deep, theatrical voice of the radio announcer filled the air. "This is station KBX. Please stay tuned for the Bill Edwards Show." Nurse Hollister patted Kathy on the shoulder. "You just give a holler if you need anything. I will be fixing myself some lunch." "All right, thank you," Kathy murmured, her eyelids already beginning to feel heavy in the afternoon warmth. As the nurse stepped back into the cool interior of the house, the radio crackled slightly before the grand, slightly eccentric voice of Bill Edwards took over the airwaves. Bill was a local legend, a man who loved the sound of his own voice and possessed a whimsical charm that drew in thousands of listeners every afternoon. "All right now," Bill began, his voice dripping with dramatic flair. "Let me carefully emphasize to my radio listeners now joining me that I have been expounding to 3,000 people seated out in front of me. Well, okay. Make that 11 people, including the cute little red-headed captivator now casing my engineer so lovingly that, well, the first platform of the women's liberation movement should be doing away with beauty products. Now, this would give us men an equal chance at not getting all messed up and emotionally jostled at such tender ages. I mean, no makeup, no hairdos. And instead of silk and fluff and all those goodies which have been giving me high blood pressure long before my time, just a simple sackcloth." Kathy giggled softly, closing her eyes as the warm breeze rustled the leaves above her. "Well, enough of that verbal jousting and down to business," Bill continued, his tone shifting to one of cozy conspiracy. "Today's topic for you Danies out there, and I love every one of you, even wearing your smoldering sackcloth and sporting those mustaches. Today's topic is, what was your most embarrassing moment when dating your husband, boyfriend, or live-in partner for the very first time? Okay." The switchboard is lighting up. Inside the house, Mrs. Barnes, Kathy's mother, walked into the kitchen, looking deeply troubled. She was a kind, hardworking teacher, always putting her daughter's well-being above all else. Right now, her face was pale, her hands trembling slightly as she set her purse down on the counter. "My dear, that does keep Billo off the unemployment lines. Nurse Hollister was murmuring to herself as she prepared a sandwich. She looked up and noticed the older woman's distress. "Miss Hollister," Mrs. Barnes began, her voice barely a whisper. "Miss Hollister, I do not believe what happened. When I drove by the Rickers house just now, there was a police car and an ambulance. A neighbor said she was dead. Dr. Rickers' wife, Ellen." The nurse paused, the butter knife freezing in her hand. "Oh, no. Did they say how it happened, Mrs. Barnes?" "I do not know," Mrs. Barnes replied, shaking her head in disbelief. Dr. Rickers had been so good to their family, guiding Kathy through her difficult recovery. To think that a tragedy had struck his own home was heartbreaking. "Where is Kathy?" "Oh, she is on the patio now," Nurse Hollister said softly. Mrs. Barnes hurried out to the patio. "Kathy? Kathy, are you awake?" Kathy stirred, blinking away the heavy fog of sleep.
Mom.
"Is the Edwards show over already? Do not tell me I slept through it all." "No, dear," her mother said, stepping close and gently stroking her daughter's hair. "I turned it off after you went to sleep, about half an hour ago." Kathy looked up, noticing the deep lines of worry etched across her mother's face. "Is something the matter, Mom? What is wrong?" Mrs. Barnes took a deep, steadying breath. "It is Dr. Rickers' wife, Ellen. She is dead." The peaceful afternoon was suddenly shattered by the intrusion of a dark and complex mystery. The local police acted swiftly. By the evening, the authorities had pieced together a fragmented timeline based on an anonymous phone call logged at 6 minutes past 2 o'clock. The caller had reported a loud disturbance at the Rickers residence. When the police arrived, they found Ellen Rickers lifeless on the floor. Dr. Rickers had been in surgery since 2 o'clock, shielded by an airtight alibi. However, the police's attention quickly turned to another physician at Wilshire Memorial Hospital, Dr. Jim Melford. The evidence against the young, impulsive Dr. Melford seemed damning. There was an eyewitness who claimed to have seen Dr. Melford fiercely arguing with Ellen Rickers shortly before the police were called. The witness had seen him visit the house on multiple occasions in the past. To make matters worse, Dr. Melford could not account for his whereabouts during the crucial hour and a half when the crime took place. Lieutenant Biddle, a seasoned and strict police officer, wasted no time in holding him on suspicion of murder. Enter Barnaby Jones. Barnaby was an older gentleman, a private investigator with a gentle demeanor, a sharp mind, and a warm, grandfatherly presence. He carried himself with the quiet confidence of a man who had seen every facet of human nature but still chose to believe in the fundamental goodness of people. He was hired by Dr. Melford's attorney to uncover the truth, a task he approached with meticulous care and an open mind. Barnaby visited the county jail the following morning. The walls were cold and gray, a stark contrast to the bright, sunny world outside. Dr. Melford sat on the edge of a narrow cot, looking exhausted and profoundly angry. "Why no bail?" Melford snapped as Barnaby and the defense attorney, Ralph, entered the small visitor's room. "I got some creep of a cellmate who has been pushing junk. He will be doing business at his old stand in the morning." "Jim, you will be held for 72 hours, Ralph explained gently. Melford stood up, pacing the small space. "Now, the Lieutenant Biddle, is that his name? Why is he not out there trying to find out who killed Rickers' wife instead of trying to hang me?" Barnaby offered a calm, reassuring smile. "Well, I have known Lieutenant Biddle for a number of years, and it is my opinion that he does not try to hang people. He is on our side. Dr. Melford, would it not be a lot more productive if we just sat down quietly and kind of discussed the charges that are being made?" Melford ran a hand through his unkempt hair. "I got a right to be upset. I got back to the hospital, parked in my car, and 6 cops started grabbing me." Barnaby nodded slowly, consulting a small notepad. "You left the hospital at 1:30 yesterday and cannot explain where you were for the next hour and a half, during which time Dr. Rickers' wife was murdered." "Right," Melford said defensively. "I washed up after a session with 2 burn cases. I drove to the county tennis courts to see if my usual partner was around. He was not. I was back at the hospital at 3:30. "So, you did not play any tennis?" Barnaby asked mildly. "I wandered around, watching a few games. What is unusual about being on county courts and not meeting anybody you know? Jim, Mr. Jones is not questioning your statement, Ralph interjected, trying to keep the peace. Of course he is, Melford shot back. Where do we go from I cannot account for my time? How about this eyewitness, Kathy Barnes? She says she saw me enter the Rickers house at 2 o'clock or shortly thereafter. He let out a bitter laugh. An eyewitness. A girl under constant medication who sleeps half each day away. She was hallucinating for a week after that skiing accident. Barnaby raised an eyebrow. Then you are saying that the witness is not credible, that she is claiming to have seen things that she did not see. Exactly, Melford insisted, leaning forward. She suffered a severe concussion. There is nothing unusual about sensory distortions for days, even weeks later. Barnaby closed his notepad and slipped it into his jacket pocket. Well, Ralph, I will go over the ground and get back to you. Melford looked at Barnaby, a flicker of desperation in his eyes. You do not believe me? That I did not kill Ellen Rickers? Dr. Melford, my job is to investigate the facts as early as I can and to report to your attorney, Barnaby replied evenly. Was there anything in your relationship with Mrs. Rickers which was other than casual, friendly? Melford swallowed hard, looking away. Well, I hardly knew Ellen Rickers. I said hello when she dropped by the hospital, and a couple of times Dr. Rickers invited me to the house. That is it. Barnaby thanked him and quietly left the room. He possessed a finely tuned instinct for when a person was holding back the truth. Dr. Melford was hiding something, but Barnaby was not entirely convinced it was a murder. His next stop was the Barnes residence. Barnaby found Kathy resting on the patio, looking much brighter and more alert. He introduced himself with a warm, grandfatherly charm that immediately put the young girl at ease. Well, I know it was 2 o'clock because I was listening to the radio talk show and it had just come on, Kathy explained earnestly, pointing across the yard toward the Rickers house, visible through a gap in the lush greenery. Barnaby looked at the distance between the two properties. That is quite a distance away, Kathy. You had no trouble recognizing the man you saw as Dr. Melford? Well, like I told Lieutenant Biddle, I met Dr. Melford at the hospital lots of times, Kathy said confidently. He always wore the same wild sports coat. He used to joke about a resident doctor only affording one jacket, so he made darn sure he was getting his money's worth. And this was not the first time you saw Dr. Melford visiting Mrs. Rickers? Barnaby asked gently. Kathy hesitated, a slight blush creeping up her cheeks. Well, since my accident being in a wheelchair, well, I never said anything about it before because, well, it was not any of my business. Before Barnaby could ask another question, Nurse Hollister stepped out onto the patio, carrying a small tray. We will talk again, Kathy, Barnaby said with a polite nod. Kathy, it is that time again, Nurse Hollister announced, holding out a small paper cup. Kathy wrinkled her nose. I thought Dr. Rickers said I did not have to take any more medicine. It is only vitamins, something to build up your strength, the nurse replied smoothly. Barnaby watched the interaction with quiet interest, tipping his hat to the ladies before making his way to the hospital to speak with the grieving husband, Dr. Rickers. The hospital corridors were bright and sterile, echoing with the quiet hum of medical machinery. Dr. Rickers was in his office, looking weary and shadowed by sorrow. When Barnaby introduced himself, the doctor was surprisingly accommodating. If there is anything I can do to assist you, Mr. Jones, I will be only too happy, Dr. Rickers said, offering a sad smile. Jim Melford did not kill my wife. Well, doctor, maybe some other time. You have suffered a terrible loss, Barnaby said kindly. No, this should be cleared up as soon as possible, the doctor insisted. Not only is Jim's career at stake, but also my wife's integrity. Dr. Melford thinks that in her present state, Kathy may have hallucinated the whole story.
Barnaby studied the man.
And what do you think, doctor? Yes, he is right, of course, Dr. Rickers said smoothly. That girl has gone through many periods of disorientation since her accident. I spoke to her a few minutes ago. She seemed alert, clear-headed. I am expecting rapid improvement now. But patients recovering from head injuries often fall into a dreamlike state. They imagine events which seem very real to them after awakening. The doctor sighed heavily, picking up a framed photograph from his desk. Ironic, is it not? This picture was taken at the Elmwood Spa. I do not know how many times Ellen phoned me, pleading with me to join her. Maybe tomorrow, I would say. The irony is, no one can guarantee our tomorrows. I will not bother you further, Doctor. Please accept my sympathy, Barnaby said, taking his leave. Mr. Jones, Dr. Rickers called out as Barnaby reached the door. I can assure you of one thing you will find during the course of your investigation. Jim Melford is totally innocent of the charges against him. You will have to look elsewhere for my wife's killer. Barnaby walked to his car, his mind working like a quiet, well-oiled machine. A grieving husband so quick to defend the man accused of arguing with his wife. It was a noble sentiment, perhaps too noble. And the mention of the Elmwood Spa felt like a breadcrumb purposefully dropped. Barnaby decided it was time to follow the trail. The Elmwood Spa was a sprawling, luxurious retreat nestled in the hills, designed for relaxation and rejuvenation. Barnaby found the manager, Mr. Sims, leading a fitness class on a lush green lawn. Sims was a vibrant, energetic man who enthusiastically demonstrated waist-bending exercises. There is the best relaxing exercise in the world, Sims proclaimed as Barnaby approached. And it tones up the midriff. It does much more. Try it sometimes, Mr. Jones. You will feel that old spine tingling. Barnaby chuckled politely. Now, to get back to Mrs. Rickers, she spent some time here. Did you get to know her well? Not too well, Sims replied, wiping his brow with a towel. Made out a couple of programs for her. You know, classes I thought she would be interested in. She never was. Shame she is dead. I just heard about it an hour ago. Some of the guests talked about it. Barnaby's eyes crinkled in thought. You just heard about it an hour ago? It was in all the papers. I did not see the papers. I have been up in the high Sierras camping with my son, Sims explained easily. You know, Mr. Sims, what I am trying to do is to put together a picture of Mrs. Rickers' life, her friends, Barnaby said, his tone conversational. Did she socialize much with the guests here? Sims snorted softly. Socialize? I would not say that. No, not at all. She just went through the health program and kind of kept to herself. Health programs, Mrs. Rickers' style. Would you like to explain that? Sims leaned closer, lowering his voice. Well, to each his own. Or her own. Mrs. Rickers was not exactly a desirable guest. The cottage she stayed in is pretty secluded, but after dark, voices carry. She had a visitor coming in late, always arguing with him. It seems. I had to go over there and tell him to hold it down a couple of times. Do you know who the visitor was? Barnaby asked, pulling a photograph of Dr. Melford from his inner pocket. At first I thought it was her husband, but a couple of gals here laughed when I mentioned it to them. What did he look like? 30-ish, dark. A guy with a temper. I thought we were going to tangle when I told them they would have to be quiet, Sims said, taking the photograph. His eyes widened. Yes, that is him. You are positive. I saw him at least twice. But the way the gals talked around here, he had to spend a lot of nights at that cottage. Mrs. Rickers' health program, they called him. The picture was now crystal clear. Dr. Melford had lied. There was a deep, passionate, and volatile romance between him and the married Ellen Rickers. Armed with this new information, Barnaby returned to the jailhouse to confront the young doctor. You are not only a liar, you are a fool, Barnaby said, his voice carrying a rare, stern edge as he faced Melford. You are a fool for not telling your attorney about that relationship. And you are a fool for lying to the police. Melford looked absolutely shattered. The arrogant facade had crumbled, leaving behind a frightened, desperate young man. I was trying to protect her reputation. She was dead. Then why give the newspapers a field day? Let me give you some sound advice, Barnaby said. Call your attorney right now and tell him the truth. Melford grabbed the bars of the visiting room. Wait. You're still with us, right? Still on the case. For what purpose? Barnaby asked. I set out to find out if Ellen Rickers had a gentleman friend who might have been visiting her that day. I sure found him. I did not kill her, Melford pleaded, tears welling in his eyes. When I walked in, she was already dead, lying on the floor. Yes, that is right. I was at the house. It was a few minutes after 2 o'clock, so I guess Kathy Barnes did see me there, but I did not pound on that door. I used a key, opened it, and walked in. As soon as I saw Ellen, I knew I could not do anything for her. I left. I mean, how could I have explained being at the house, having a key, visiting there at the very time I knew Dr. Rickers was operating? Barnaby listened quietly, weighing the man's words. Are you aware that Kathy Barnes is not only saying that she saw you enter the house, but that she saw Ellen Rickers alive, arguing with you? Melford shook his head wildly. And that has been driving me crazy, that girl seeing me and Ellen together at the very time I went into the house. The only answer I can find is she imagined she saw Ellen alive. She saw you, but she hallucinated Ellen Rickers all at the same time. Mr. Jones, I loved Ellen, Melford whispered, his voice cracking with genuine grief. I did not kill her. You did not pound on the door. Why should I? I had a key. Barnaby repeated thoughtfully. Where is the key? I threw it out the window while I was driving. I do not even remember where. It was an impulsive act. I wanted nothing to connect me with the Rickers house. Barnaby sighed deeply. Dr. Melford, how could you make so many mistakes on just one day? That key may have substantiated part of your story. Total panic, pure and simple. How long had the affair been going on? 6 months, maybe. We started meeting at the Rickers summer cottage at Owl Lake. But we felt that was dangerous, and we started meeting at the spa, or at the Rickers house, when we knew he would be in surgery. Doctor, as an agent for your attorney, I am privileged, Barnaby reminded him. That means that anything you tell me would be held in the strictest confidence. Now, is there anything but anything that you are holding back? I cannot think of anything, Melford said miserably. I want you to call your attorney right now. Get him over here and tell him everything you told me. I think he will suggest to you that you revise your story to the police. Barnaby turned to leave. Then you are staying on the case, Melford said, a spark of hope in his voice. Doctor, I hope I am not in for any more surprises, Barnaby replied, his determination renewed. He believed the young man. The pieces of the puzzle were scattered, and someone else was manipulating the picture. Back at his office, Barnaby met with his trusted associate, Betty, a bright, resourceful young woman who was indispensable to his investigations. I will let you off, Barnaby told her with a smile. I want you to run a routine check on everybody connected. And Betty, if you have time, talk to some of Kathy's school friends. Let us get a fix on what the younger people think of her, her credibility and flights of fancy. He poured himself a cup of coffee and stared at the bulletin board. Melford is not a stupid man. He knows that Kathy says that she saw Ellen Rickers inside the house, alive, talking to him. Now, if that is true, why does he deny it? Why does he not just say, yes, he left Ellen in the house, still alive, leaving the police with the problem of having to prove that she was not killed later on by someone else? Exactly, Betty agreed, catching on immediately. Now, if Melford has finished lying, we have got to take a closer look at Kathy's story, Barnaby declared. The next day, Barnaby visited the Barnes residence again. The morning was exceptionally clear and bright. Kathy was on the patio, looking radiant and much healthier. I am not dizzy at all, Kathy was telling Dr. Rickers, who had dropped by for a house call. There is no reason you should not walk about as much as you wish now, Dr. Rickers said, playing the part of the benevolent physician perfectly. Try to get outdoors more. We can take a drive for a few hours tomorrow, if you like. Oh, great, Kathy beamed. Would you bring Kathy by the office tomorrow morning before your drive? Dr. Rickers asked Nurse Hollister. I want to run some final tests. You all right, honey? Yes, Kathy nodded. When is Mrs. Barnes returning from San Francisco? Dr. Rickers inquired smoothly. She will be away just for the weekend, Nurse Hollister replied. Barnaby approached the group with a friendly greeting. Dr. Rickers. Miss Hollister. Good morning. Are you making any headway in the case? I am still going around asking people questions, Barnaby smiled. Miss Hollister, I wonder if I might have a few words with Kathy. She is out back on the patio, the nurse directed. Thank you. Doctor, Just about everyone agrees that this case hinges on Kathy's credibility. I wonder if we could have a talk about her medical condition at your convenience. Well, I am tied up today, Dr. Rickers said, adjusting his collar slightly. Perhaps you could drop by my office tomorrow morning, say about 10? Surely. Thank you, Barnaby agreed. Barnaby sat down beside Kathy on the patio, tracing her line of sight toward the neighboring house. It is hard to see that door from here. Yes, but it is the door Dr. Melford used, Kathy explained patiently. That bush kind of hides it. And you could clearly see that it was Ellen Rickers inside the house talking to Dr. Melford?
Oh, sure.
You cannot miss her blonde hair, Kathy said brightly. And she was wearing a bright red dressing gown. Barnaby nodded thoughtfully. Getting your sea legs back, huh? Beyond the slopes come first snow. Next time, you will be watching where you are going, will you not? With both eyes. Kathy laughed. Swearing off boys. At 40 miles an hour downhill, that is. Kathy, I want to impress you with the importance of time, Barnaby said, his tone turning gentle but serious. Now, you say you knew it was 2 o'clock because you were listening to your radio. Yes, Kathy answered. No, not my radio. It was being fixed. I had the stereo speaker on. Was there a time announcement on the program so that you knew it was exactly 2 o'clock? Some music, and then the announcer sang to stand by for the Edwards show.
Lucimi.
And the Edwards show always goes on at 2 o'clock. Yes, I always listen. Most everybody does, Kathy added proudly. So, you were listening to the program, and were you wide awake or sort of catnapping? Kathy pondered for a moment. Well, I did fall asleep, but that was after Edward started. You know, giving his topic for the day. It was, what was your most embarrassing moment when dating your husband? Or, as he put it, your live-in partner, for the first time. Sometimes I even call in. You called? Well, on the topic. Since I have been laid up, I have been calling in. So you listened to the show for a few minutes, and then you fell asleep, Barnaby summarized. I began dozing, and then I saw Dr. Melford and Ellen Rickers arguing. Kathy looked down at her hands, a flicker of doubt crossing her young face. But you were dozing. I know what you mean, Mr. Jones. Lieutenant Biddle keeps asking me if I could have been dreaming. I do not think I was. But I do not know. Maybe it would have been better if I had not said anything that day. No, you did the right thing, Kathy, Barnaby assured her warmly, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. Say what you saw, or what you think you saw, and leave the rest up to the police. The pieces were beginning to clash in Barnaby's mind. To clear up the discrepancy regarding the radio broadcast, Barnaby decided to pay a visit to the flamboyant radio host himself. Bill Edwards' studio was a chaotic symphony of ringing phones, soundboards, and scattered scripts. Bill himself was a whirlwind of energy, currently reclining in his chair and speaking into a microphone with his trademark theatrical flair. And I can see you out there right now, with your phone in one hand and plucking pensively at your prehensile, asparagus-like toes with the other, Bill was saying into the microphone, thoroughly enjoying his own monologue. I have to kind of defend my doll babies out there, but stay tuned, chums, for 5 minutes of late news, and I will be back with further acrimonious rebuttal, defending my ladies. He clicked off the microphone and spun around to face Barnaby. Well, I am not the neatest person in the world. One of my ex-wives is so fond of nagging me. Add that to the fact, Mr. Jones, that I have a memory like a neurotic hamster. Well, here we are. And my life is a constant 24-hour whirl of anxious desperation. Barnaby smiled kindly, looking at the massive stacks of letters on the desk. Well, I see you certainly have your share of fan mail. I was hoping you would notice, my dear sir, Bill grinned. By the way, do you ever listen to my shows? Almost all the time, Barnaby replied politely. Well, thank you, my dear friend, for that charitable falsehood. Bill laughed heartily. Now, let us see. Wednesday the 19th, Mr. Jones? Your afternoon show. Bill flipped through a thick binder of program logs. Well, here we are. No delay of program. Could have been a few seconds, no more than that. How long after your program starts do you usually introduce the topic of the day? Barnaby asked. Oh, I would say about 4 or 5 minutes. I announce the topic as soon as possible, Just give my callers time to gather their scattered wits. And incidentally, that was the other woman day, not quite the juicy, succulent topic I thought it would be. Barnaby frowned slightly. Then you would say that no longer than 5 minutes after the program starts. The other woman.
Yes.
Here it is. Were you ever that other woman in a divorce case? Well, I was under the impression that the topic of the day on that particular day was what was your most embarrassing moment on your first date with your husband or boyfriend? Bill flipped back a few pages. Oh, let us see. That is an oldie.
Here we are.
By the way, Mr. Jones, you have got me throbbing with curiosity when this case becomes, well, let us say, unconfidential. I would love to hear all about it, full details. Here it is, the 26th of last month.
Topik.
What was your most embarrassing moment while dating your hubby, boyfriend, or live-in the very first time? The 26th of last month. Barnaby felt a thrill of discovery. All right here. Feel free to make notes. And, by the way, I better check on the calls coming in. I will see you later, Bill said, already reaching for a flashing button on his console. Thank you, Barnaby said, walking out of the studio with a spring in his step. He met Betty at a quiet diner to discuss his findings. Well, if Kathy was confused about the topic of the show, does that not make you doubt her whole story? Betty asked over a cup of tea. Barnaby smiled softly. She reminds me of a little girl I met in a spelling bee once. She was so charming that even when she spelled the words wrong, she had the judge believe in her. The next morning, Barnaby went to Dr. Ricker's clinic. He found Dr. Rickers and Nurse Hollister preparing for the day's trip. All right, look to the left. Now look down. Good. Dr. Rickers was instructing a patient in the examination room. Lights, Miss Hollister, please. Settle for A, B grade. Dr. Rickers? Kathy joked from her wheelchair. A, B plus with a certain A coming, the doctor replied cheerfully. Still want to take a drive this morning? Or would you rather do a little shopping? Maybe both. Spend the morning driving, then shop after lunch, Kathy suggested enthusiastically.
Yes.
Yes, we're finished. Send Mr. Jones in, Dr. Rickers called out. All right, girls, I do not want you to overdo this the first day, so limit it to a 2-hour drive, and then straight home. Nap time no later than 1 o'clock, Dr. Rickers advised warmly. Morning, Mr. Jones, Dr. Rickers greeted. Kathy, how are the sea legs? Barnaby asked warmly. Oh, much better, Mr. Jones. Such a nice morning. Let us get started. Oh, Kathy, I met your Mr. Edwards yesterday, Barnaby casually mentioned. Kathy's eyes lit up. You did?
Hey, what is he like?
Does he remember me? I called him twice, you know. Well, we did not have much time to talk, but we did discuss the topic of the day that you heard on the patio, something about the most embarrassing moment. Yes, when you dated your husband or boyfriend for the first time. Only,
he said that was not the topic of the day.
He said it was something to do with, were you ever the other woman in a divorce case? Kathy looked deeply confused. No, I would have remembered that. It was most embarrassing moments. No, Mr. Jones is right, Kathy. Nurse Hollister interjected smoothly, her voice a calm balm over the situation. The program was on in the house, too. I remember callers talking about being that other woman in a divorce case. It is not uncommon. Falling asleep, believing you are hearing that program, but your subconscious picking up words heard at a previous time. I guess, Kathy mumbled, looking terribly deflated. I think it is time we got started, Kathy, Nurse Hollister prompted gently. Bye, Mr. Jones. Bye, Kathy, Dr. Rickers waved. Thanks, Dr. Rickers. All right, have a good time, Kathy. Once the women left, Barnaby turned his attention entirely to the doctor. Dr. Rickers, if Kathy was totally wrong about what she thought she heard on the radio, could she not have been equally wrong about what she saw or thought she saw on that date? Dr. Rickers stroked his chin thoughtfully. Ordinarily, yes. But you cannot dream or hallucinate something you have never seen before. I do not follow you. Dr. Rickers leaned against his desk, a look of profound sorrow crossing his face. That red dressing gown Ellen was wearing, it was a gift from me, presented to her just that morning before I left for the hospital. Now, If Kathy said she saw Ellen in a red robe, a color she has never worn before, it proves that she did indeed see Ellen alive as she looked down to my front door about 2 o'clock that day. Barnaby nodded slowly, digesting the information. I see. It did not occur to me until just this morning, and I immediately called Lieutenant Biddle and told him about the robe. That does tighten the case against Dr. Melford, does it not? With Melford admitting he came to my house, I think he should also admit that that uncontrollable temper of his took over and he struck Ellen, causing her death. Well, if that is true, it seems to me Dr. Melford could take the easy way out and plead involuntary manslaughter. Maybe you should suggest that to him, Barnaby said noncommittally. I think I will leave that to his lawyer. Meanwhile, in the car, Kathy was unusually quiet. Nurse Hollister glanced over at her. You are very quiet, Kathy. I am thinking about Mr. Jones. Something he said about the time of day being so important, Kathy murmured, staring out the window at the passing scenery. And, well, I did not think about it too much before, but that day was kind of jumbled up for me. For instance, do you remember when you woke me up for lunch, and I was not hungry, as though it was too soon after breakfast? Oh, having a lesser appetite is not unusual, Nurse Hollister dismissed smoothly. But when you wheeled me out to the patio, it was 2 o'clock and I woke up at 2:30. That is only a half hour of sleep. I mean, on other days after taking my medicine, I would feel groggy if I did not sleep at least an hour. Nurse Hollister tightened her grip on the steering wheel. You are regaining your full strength now. You need less sleep. But you see, time again. I am getting worried about being so positive of things that day. I mean, if things seem mixed up to me now, thinking back, maybe I was dreaming I saw Mrs. Rickers alive talking to Dr. Melford. I am sure you were not dreaming, the nurse said, her voice strained. We will make a stop ahead. I have to call Dr. Rickers. Something I forgot to tell him this morning. Nurse Hollister pulled up to a public telephone booth and dialed the clinic. Yes? Yes, Marion. Dr. Rickers answered from the other end. It is not that she is suspicious. But if she talks to Jones like that, how long would it be before he puts it together? Nurse Hollister whispered fiercely into the receiver. How far are you from the lake cottage? The doctor asked, his voice suddenly sharp and cold. Oh, about 30 minutes, I think. All right, I will meet you there. Kathy and her mother have both been guests before, so she will not think it unusual, my suggesting you spend a day at the lake. Tell her I decided to take the day off. I thought it might be fun to do a little trout fishing together again. While the sinister trap was being laid, Barnaby was busy unraveling the mechanical thread of the mystery. He visited the local electronics repair shop, finding the jovial repairman, Mr. Sue, surrounded by parts. This is an identical portable to the one Miss Barnes has, Mr. Sue explained, pointing to a radio on his workbench. A simple repair. A resistor in the primary circuit. It worked itself loose. Would you say it is unusual for a defect to show up in that way? Barnaby asked. Yes and no. What was unusual? I found the warranty seal broken when I opened it up. Strange, because I delivered it to the house just about a week ago. It was new, perfect working order. Who brought it in for repair? Barnaby inquired softly. I do not know her name. A nurse. She brought it in and picked it up, Mr. Sue revealed. Barnaby's mind clicked. The broken radio was no accident. That stereo system that Mrs. Barnes has in her house, did you install that?
Oh, yes.
I know the family well. I have been doing business with them for years. Look here. This is the model they bought just about a year ago. It is very fine equipment. Plays cassette tapes, records, and plays back. So the tapes could be heard through every speaker in the house, including the one on the patio, Barnaby mused, the dark brilliance of the plot finally coming to light.
Right.
Mind-boggling. Oh, it is a common system today. The cassette feeds through the receiver and out to the speakers, Mr. Sue explained enthusiastically. I was thinking of something else, Mr. Sue, Barnaby said softly. He rushed back to meet Betty. And the next company Rickers formed went broke just last year, Betty informed him, reading from a thick file. You know, I sense from the broker that Mrs. Rickers was tired of bailing her husband out from all these flyers he has been taking. Well, what have we got? Barnaby summarized, his voice grave. A ne'er-do-well and a wealthy woman. Motive is there. Add on to that the sudden failure of Kathy's radio, then Nurse Hollister's convenient correcting of Kathy on the talk show topic. And Kathy confined to intensive care on the 26th. The day of the embarrassing moment topic. And the hospital says they do not have radios in intensive care. Well, if she did not hear it, that proves she was not dreaming, Betty realized. But only Kathy can tell us if she heard a radio that day. Barnaby, you said she would be home by 1 o'clock. It is almost 1:30. Let us make a phone call. They quickly discovered the truth from the clinic receptionist. No, I could not say where she is. Well, I am just an old friend of Marion's. She told me to give her a buzz if I ever happen in town. I wish I could be more of a help. She did phone in a while back to talk to Dr. Rickers, but I have no idea where she was calling from. Well, do you think Dr. Rickers might have some idea? Barnaby pressed gently. The doctor is out. He canceled all his appointments and left the office right after he talked to Nurse Hollister. Barnaby's heart sank. He knew exactly what kind of phone call would cause the doctor to rush out. The conspirators knew the net was closing, and Kathy was the only loose end. Miles away, at the isolated lake cottage, the afternoon was dragging on. Dr. Rickers arrived, playing the role of the cheerful, fatherly figure. Kathy, unsuspecting and genuinely happy to be out of the house, was resting on the sofa. I do not see how we can prevent Jones from talking to her, Nurse Hollister hissed to Dr. Rickers in the kitchen. We cannot. Our answer is to stop Kathy from questioning the time that day. To prove to her that time and events become distorted while under medication.
I think the more we talk to her about that day.
I will examine her arm when she wakes up, be dissatisfied with the healing, and put her on a drug program. Yes, she will be mildly hallucinating even before she goes to sleep tonight. But that means her credibility will really be questioned. Would not Melford go free? The nurse worried. Highly doubtful. As I told Jones, no one can imagine something they have never seen before. That little touch of mine, buying Ellen that red robe. The doctor smiled grimly, proud of his own deadly cleverness. While the villains plotted, a small, miraculous coincidence was happening in the living room. Kathy, feeling bored and spotting a telephone, decided to try her luck one more time with her favorite radio show. Back at the studio, Bill Edwards was in rare form. And so any of you hauntingly lovely women who might have any piercing, penetrating idea on what is the dirtiest trick your man ever played on you, you just tell me, your secret admirer, all about it, my dear. Hey, chums, remember that dear little youngster who called in? Kathy? What she did was fracture her tiny feminine flipper-up on the ski slopes about 2 weeks back. Well, I want to hear from Kathy today, but perhaps this youngster abides by Billow's stern law that you have to wait 10 days. Well, I am going to set aside that 10-day law right now, which, of course, has been cast in bronze for permanent remembrance. So, Kathy Plum, if you are listening today to Bill, your chum, you give me a call. Tell us all how you are getting along. So you call in, Kathy. We'll be waiting for you right now. In his car, rushing toward the lake with Lieutenant Biddle following closely behind, Barnaby had the radio tuned to the station. Mr. Jones, maybe I could be of more help to you if I knew myself what was going on, Biddle said through the police radio. Trust me that I do not want to trigger somebody who may be with Kathy into doing something desperate, Barnaby replied firmly. And trust me that I will fill you in on the whole story sometime when you are my guest at the steakhouse of your choice. On the radio, Bill Edwards was laughing. Okay, I think I have got a live one here. Stand by. Here we go. My next caller, with a well-justified beef on her nimble brain, calls herself Bill. This is Kathy. The sweet, innocent voice chimed over the airwaves. Barnaby's grip on the steering wheel tightened. Kathy, my dear girl, Bill announced joyfully. Are you cheating on your chum, Bill? I mean, here it is 15 minutes into the show, and I thought, sure, you would be my very first caller. I tuned in late. I am sorry. I just heard you say I could call, Kathy replied politely. I will give you this time, sweetheart. By the way, I am now switching on my magic viewer. You're going to have to clamber down off the lap of that ski bum, honey. The dude who picked you up this afternoon up there, and act with a little more demure decorum, if you will, okay? Oh, I am nowhere near skiing country. My arm is still in a cast. Kathy giggled. Well, are you getting plenty of exercise otherwise, sweetheart? What are you doing today to keep that lullaby body of yours in shape? Well, some fishing after I take my nap. Not much else. Fishing? You do not mean to tell Billo that you are out on somebody's swanky yacht, perhaps calling ship to shore, do you? No, this is lake fishing from a swank rowboat. Barnaby grabbed his car phone, immediately dialing the radio station's private line. Within seconds, he was patched through to Bill Edwards while the host placed Kathy on a brief hold. Well, Kathy Plum, we are going to have a hasty station break here. We will be right back, Bill announced smoothly on the air, then switched lines. What is going on, Barnaby? How far do you want me to go? Bill asked, suddenly serious. Keep her talking, but do not press her for her location, Barnaby instructed urgently. Fishing on a lake. It has to be the Rickers summer cottage. It is on Cove Road, last cottage. It is right on the lake. That is 20 minutes from here. If you do not hear from me in 30 minutes, call Lieutenant Biddle. Bill clicked back to Kathy. Okay, Kathy, let us talk a little more about that fishing business. No, really, I have always been a fishing bug, especially for lake trout. Kathy chatted amiably. Well, when my dad was alive, we used to go. Suddenly, the line crackled with a harsh, angry voice. Dr. Rickers had entered the room, his mask of kindness entirely stripped away. Who are you talking to? He demanded loudly. The radio station, the talk show. Kathy answered, her voice trembling slightly. Who gave you permission to do that? What? Kathy gasped, confused and frightened by the sudden shift in his demeanor. You were told to go to bed. What is that talk about a lake? Dr. Rickers snapped, moving quickly across the room to snatch the phone from her hand and slam it down on the receiver. The line went dead. For a moment, he stood there, breathing heavily, before he remembered his role. He forced a smile, though his eyes remained cold and calculating. Well, there I go again, yelling at my patients for disobeying orders. It is a habit I have been trying to break myself of for ages. Forgive me, Kathy, but I do insist upon that nap. He pulled a small bottle from his pocket and poured a generous dose of liquid into a cup. Here is a little something that will get you to sleep. Here. This will make you sleep for an hour or so, and then it is off to see if we can catch some fish. Kathy looked at the cup, her heart pounding. The pieces were falling into place in her own mind. The jumbled time, the broken radio, the strange trip, and now this sudden flash of anger. She knew, with a chilling certainty, that she was in terrible danger. I am not really thirsty, Kathy whispered, trying to will her chair backward, away from the looming doctor. It is for your own good, Kathy, Nurse Hollister said, stepping into the room and blocking her path. Drink it down. You need to rest. Dr. Rickers stepped closer, the cup extended. Just as his hand reached toward her, the sound of screeching tires broke the heavy silence outside the cottage. Heavy footsteps pounded up the wooden porch steps. Before Dr. Rickers could force the liquid upon her, the front door burst open. Barnaby Jones stood in the doorway, his silver hair catching the afternoon light, flanked by Lieutenant Biddle and two uniformed officers. The authority and calm resolve radiating from the old investigator filled the room, instantly shattering the conspirators' dark design. I think the young lady has had enough medicine for one day, Doctor, Barnaby said, stepping into the room. His voice was quiet, yet it carried the weight of absolute justice. Dr. Rickers froze, the cup slipping from his trembling fingers to shatter on the wooden floor. The poisonous liquid seeped into the cracks, a silent testament to the murder that was narrowly averted. Nurse Hollister gasped, shrinking back against the wall as the police officers moved in to secure the room. It is over, Dr. Rickers, Lieutenant Biddle announced firmly, producing a pair of handcuffs. You and Nurse Hollister are under arrest for the murder of Ellen Rickers and the attempted drugging of this young woman. Kathy sat in her wheelchair, wide-eyed and trembling, but as Barnaby walked over and placed a warm, reassuring hand on her shoulder, a wave of profound relief washed over her. You are safe now, Kathy, Barnaby smiled kindly. "Your mother is on her way to pick you up. You did wonderfully." Later that evening, after the truth had been fully unveiled to the police and Dr. Melford had been exonerated and released from his cold cell, Barnaby sat in his quiet office, nursing a warm cup of tea. The intricate web of lies had been masterfully woven by Dr. Rickers. The failing businessman, tired of his wife's threats to cut off his funding, had meticulously planned her demise. He used his access to medical knowledge and Nurse Hollister's unwavering devotion to create the perfect alibi. They had rigged the stereo system to play a recorded tape of the radio show an hour early, manipulating Kathy's perception of time while she was heavily medicated. They had dressed Ellen in a bright red robe, ensuring Kathy would remember the specific detail when Dr. Melford arrived for his secret rendezvous, successfully framing the young lover for the tragic crime. Yet, despite the darkness of the scheme, the light of truth had prevailed. Kathy's innocent habit of calling into the eccentric, humorous radio show had provided the very clue needed to unravel the deadly illusion. Her resilience and her commitment to speaking her truth, even when she doubted her own memory, had been the beacon that guided Barnaby to the heart of the mystery. The following week, the quiet suburban patio was once again bathed in golden sunshine. Kathy sat in her wheelchair, this time surrounded by the loving embrace of her mother and the cheerful company of Barnaby Jones. The air was filled with the light-hearted banter of Bill Edwards' radio program, playing softly from a brand-new, perfectly functioning radio. "You know, Mr. Jones," Kathy smiled, looking healthier and happier than she had in weeks. "I think I will hold off on calling Mr. Edwards for a little while. I have had quite enough excitement to last me a long time." Barnaby chuckled, tipping his hat. "A wise decision, my dear. Sometimes a little peace and quiet is the greatest adventure of all." As the afternoon breeze rustled the leaves, carrying with it the promise of healing and brighter tomorrows, the shadows of the past faded away, leaving behind a profound appreciation for the simple, beautiful, and enduring light of everyday life. The truth had set them free, and in the end, that was the most beautiful story of all.